here we are trying to move something on the ground. So friction is coming somewhere here, and everywhere you can see friction where and where friction is there. So can you point some places friction is where? I can see friction here, except this
Foot of that man.
foot of that man, friction is also there, and the way
Yes.
it is holding this rope, there also friction, and if there is a mechanical component, there will be also some friction. So question is friction productive or unproductive? So here this friction is productive and this friction is unproductive. So if it is unproductive or productive, so there is something where you need to control it. Somewhere we need minimum friction and some places we need maximum friction. So if you see this what you call this GIFs, what it says? This says some bearing, some gear meshing is happening. So there is a friction here. There also this friction is there. So what is the difference between this and this? And what is this? This is also because of friction. And this is also friction. This is, what is this? What is mechanism? आप लोगों ने देखा होगा इसको, बहुत कॉमन है, बहुत कॉमन है, बहुत जरूरी है. ये आपका कटिंग, सिंगल पॉइंट कटिंग टूल, and lubricant is going on. This is braking system. How this brake is applied in clutches. And this, you see here, if friction is not controlled, so you can go away from the path. Here friction or is the effect of lubrication. So if uncontrolled or unlubricated, so you may fall off the track. If it is well defined, then you may be on the right track. So what is this? You know that gun or the bullet comes from the path of the plunger. So you can see this some bullet, this now here, and this plunger will push. So this is your bullet engagement mechanism. So there, if friction is not controlled, so this can be like very disastrous. So here you can see different types of friction requirement are there, and different types of contacts are there, and different mechanisms are involved. If you have to understand these processes, so what should be the approach? So if you have to see, so this is, and you can say one of the important slide, and I always show in my classes. So what is the practical objective of the tribology? So practical objective of the tribology is something controlling friction and wear. So if you see this area, so bearing, gears, cams, and different others are there. So here we need lubrication. And if you see here, so here we need friction. So here in this corner, if you see here, minimum friction, minimum wear, minimum friction. So this edge, minimum friction, minimum wear, and here minimum wear, maximum friction. These two cases. So your brake pad should not wear. If it is wearing, so maybe again you have to replace it. So here the case is, it should offer you high friction, but at the same time low coefficient of friction, low wear. And in this case, okay, maximum friction and maximum wear. So that is what the eraser, like we write with the pencil and then we erase it. And here pencil. So we are writing with the pencil. So how you are able to write with the pencil? If friction, minimum friction is there and maximum wear. So this is the requirement when you write with the pencil. If friction is high, so that time your hand may face higher stresses. And if it is not wearing, friction is high and your lead of the pencil is not wearing, so you may not be able to write. So at the same time here, friction should be minimum and your lead has to wear. And so what you can see, what other thing you can see here? Here one more thing what you can see, pencil is wearing fine, your friction is low, that's also fine. If the lead of the pencil is not sticking to the paper, the adhesion between the lead and the tip of the pencil or the paper is not enough to hold the marking or to hold the graphite particles. That means simply it will go off. Again you cannot write. So this is something about the surfaces. So importance of the surface here. Now if something you have to erase off. So that time we need, because something already stick to the surface, that is paper. Now you need something else which can adhere, which can have a higher adhesivity to the graphite particles, and that is what the eraser is. So eraser, what is the mechanism of erasing a pencil written by the pencil? So that is something adhesion dominated. So you have to create a material which can offer high adhesive strength compared to the lead to the paper. So this is something now you can understand, or you need some, because this is something very basic which highlights what is the practical objectives of the tribology and what the requirement posed onto the material, whether friction should be higher or friction should be minimum. So if you go along this, so then it comes to the tribological materials. So from the tribological materials, it can be solids, all solids. I am using this duster, so this is rubbing against this. So all solids, they are tribological materials. So your whole material science is welcome into this area, and you can develop coatings. Suppose you want to develop anti-wear and anti-corrosion or corrosion resistant coating or antibacterial coating, anti-fungal coating. So these coatings you can basically engineer the material. But if you see the tribologically, so here issue is your wear, solids and coatings, and consider the previous slide. So their issue is wear, and solution can be by this. And what is this? This is something what interface material you are trying to apply between two contacting surfaces. So tribology is a study when two surfaces are interaction, and that time you are trying to study friction and wear. And if you are applying this interface material, so this is what you are trying to separate the tribo pair. So this is materials. You can develop the material according to your material science or your nanotechnological development. Then again nanotechnological development, you can go for liquid, semi-solids and the gases. So semi-solids, it comes to the greases, and liquids I am going to talk about now, and greases I will talk into the next part. So if you have to develop understanding for any system, in general I am saying, let it be any mechanical system, so what should be the approach? So I feel this can be your approach. Either you should start from this side or from this side. So it can be, suppose I can say this, I was discussing about this writing with the pencil. So suppose I have drawn this line. So I want to study the mechanism of writing with this pen to this board. So one thing can be just I see from this place whether it's thick enough or bold enough or with enough length. So I am trying to characterize the quality of this line by just visualization. That is something macro scale observation, and we are saying it is good or it is bad. If your brake pad is wearing, just we'll see, okay, it's of no use because it's one, by just seeing on the eyes. But now if you want to see how this thing happened, so now I will go, I will take to the microscope, and then I will see what kind of pattern is there, whether it's adhesion dominated or scratching, because I can draw a line by scratching also. It's a scratching dominated or adhesion dominated. So that kind of thing I can do. So that is something I am taking the help of microscopes. A microscope, it can be your scanning electron microscope, or it can be your optical microscope. So that is something you have gone below, 1 scale down or 2 scale down with the microscope. Now further I want to improve the quality. Actually there are two inks. We normally would have seen people, this pen is good and this pen is bad. I feel good when I am writing with this pen. So that is where we are trying to engineer the ink. or engineer the mechanism between the roll, the roller at the tip. So that is where the nano things will come into the picture. So in this line, it can be computational or experimental approach. Again, your developmental skills. Then the same thing, microscale. If you are doing into tribology, so microscale tribology, so we have ASTM standards. So this thing, if you are testing, so for this already we have ASTM standards. So normally this is something pass or fail test. If something is passing ASTM standard, this, we accept it. If it is not passing, okay, fail. So these are fail pass tests. Macro tribology, we are trying to understand the mechanism somewhere here. So for this we have different instrument. So these are not direct application instrument or direct you can say it's a simulated version, you can say. Suppose I want to study a ball bearing lubrication. So for this I cannot have a complete ball bearing, because again it will be complicated. But if I know interaction between single ball and a race, then it can be better. So for that we scale down the problem to this laboratory scale instrument where single ball will be interacting with the localized material. So this kind of instrument we are seeing this microtribology. And nanotribology, again you want to see, if you see the surfaces, so every surface has some kind of roughness. We are saying I am into this contact. So this I will, if I am putting this, so contact area is something we can say this x by y. But actually real contact, if you see, it will be somewhere missing. So these roughness on the surfaces, they are first interacting, and because of that maybe there are these peaks and valleys. So first tip or first molecule is going into contact with the other. So in that case you cannot apply the same theory which is you are trying to develop here. So same theories may not be valid in this case. So when you are in this scale, so this environmental humidity is okay, you are accepting this. But if you are into this nanoscale, so this environmental humidity, this may be very difficult to tackle, because these capillary reactions are those forces they dominate, and you can see these micro electromechanical systems. If nanotribology would have not been there, they would have not been into success. So it is very important here. Now for this presentation, what are the contents? So what is the role of lubricant? This is just one slide, so quickly I will go. And wherever you are feeling me to stop, please feel free and you can ask me question. Some parts you will be feeling like it's very easy and simple, and some parts you may feel like it's something very difficult or different from. So just feel free to stop me. So what is the role of lubricant, and what is the key to successful lubrication, parameters affecting friction, laws and theories of friction, viscosity, metal working fluid. And I have my student here, Mr. Ajay. So he is working into development of this metal working fluid. So purposefully I brought him, so he can look at the work and maybe he can understand what kind of mechanism we have already proposed. So because I never presented this kind of work to him, so he can understand now. It's a chance for him, and we'll be trying to develop something. So here, what is the role of lubricants? So quickly, reduce friction, minimize wear, cool the part if it is machining operation. So we have to cool down the part also. Why we have to cool down? थोड़ा इंटरेक्टिव भी बना के चलते, नहीं तो मैं ही बोलते रहूँगा. हिंदी यूज करूँ तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. कूल करने की जरूरत क्यों है?
डिफॉर्मेशन को प्रिवेंट करने के लिए.
थर्मल डिफॉर्मेशन.
हाँ, थर्मल डिस्टॉर्शन. बट
वेल्ड टाइप का एडेशन हो.
लाइन कटिंग टूल.
सो आप सभी लोगों ने जो सोचा, यू थॉट फ्रॉम मटेरियल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, एडिशन होगा, टूल चिप इंटरफेस है ना, बट यू आर नॉट थिंकिंग फॉर द लुब्रिकेंट. इफ temperature is going higher, so lubricant have its own capability up to what temperature it can withstand. So maybe initially it is able to serve its purpose, But if thermal, it is not able to dissipate the heat which he is getting from the part. So it will degrade by itself, and that is one of the major reason these oils or lubricants, they get degraded. And contaminants always when you are working with the lubricants, so some of the other contaminants, they will come from the environment, from the process to this, and so you have to take care of that also. So suppose some wear debris, they are coming and they are larger in size, so maybe just simply filter out and reuse it. But if something which you are not able to filter out, so that time you have to decide when you have to throw it and when you have to reuse it. And sometimes they can act as a sealant. Sealant का कैसे होता है? कोई एक example? When lubricants can act as a sealant. Yes, grease, and that is one of the biggest point where greases are preferred over this lubricants, oil or liquid lubricants, and sometimes they can transmit the power also. And keys to successful lubrication: viscosity, which is something you have to control, and the additives, so all your chemistries.
सर रिमोट सी
थोड़ा और क्या बोल सकते हैं? So viscosity and the additives and lubrication practices. So practices, you can see what is the schedule for lubrication. You can say after this much of hour you have to discard this lubricant. So maybe during your car services or bike services, so you done engine oil change करना है कितने टाइम बाद, कितने किलोमीटर गाड़ी आपकी चली. So that is lubrication practices after how much time. So what is the maintenance schedule for lubrication change? So what is the right type of lubricant you are using? Maybe if you are using one company and you are shifting to other company, so that is one thing. What is the right quality, right amount, and right place, and the right time you have to change. If your lubricant is degraded and you are not changing with the time, maybe your part already gone. And additives, what is additives? You see here. Suppose oil company, they approach to you, okay, we want to develop a metal working fluid or say neat oil for engine operation. So we want to develop an engine oil. So what should be the approach? So because you will take some base oil, suppose आपने paraffin oil लिया market से, hexadecan base oil लिया. So that base oil will be having viscosity. So based on viscosity, you can select. Okay, this is the viscosity requirement for this purpose. So you have selected viscosity, but how you are going to tackle the frictional process? For that, you have to add something into that. And addition will be depending upon the what kind of contacting stresses are there into that domain or in which lubrication regime it is going to work. What is the contacting stresses at the contact zone, and now you have to go back to the additive properties. This is the temperature, this is the contact pressure, and okay, now this can be good for the this process. So you find very well that this combination is working fine. Now suddenly something come, okay, you cannot dispose this system into environment. So your best formulation you cannot use now. Now that's where the system or the point of green technology is coming into the picture. So now you have to develop a metal working fluid or your oil which is green and you can throw it into the environment. So this is something, so only the place where you can play is the additive. So additive you have to select in such a way so that it should be right, it should be able to survive in the say boundary lubrication regime, and the viscosity is the thing. And what parameters which affects wear? Topography of the surface, surface chemistry, contact mechanics, friction, lubrication is already discussed. So if you see the contacts, so what you can see from here? इससे पहले किसने यहाँ पे बताया कुछ टैबलेट कोई बोल के गया है? So you can see something is trying to contact with the, so this ball is trying to contact with the surface, some force is coming, so this is some basic system. But if you go further study, so this is duplication of this, and here this ball, so this is your point contact, and here this ball is replaced by a cylindrical or cylinder, so this here is changed to line contact. And if you see this portion, if you try to zoom out this program or this portion, so basically some places it is in contact and some places it is not into contact. So actually if you see the area, you can feel x by y, x into y, but that area is now this area plus this area plus this area. So this is the real contact area which is going to decide the deformation of the surface. Maybe what is the stress? If I say, I am saying F by F, I will say 10 Newton divided by some 10 centimeter by centimeter. So that will be some stresses which you have calculated, but it is not 10. The real contact area may be 10 nanometer square. So contact stresses will be, instead of megapascal, it will be into GPa, and that gigapascal is enough to deform this material. So because of that, you can get deformation into these places and these process basically. So these are some formulations, or you can say what is the applied load, this contact area, yield strength. So yield strength of this junction. So basically, if you have to move from here to here, so you have to break this, or you have to apply the stresses which is higher than the yield strength of the junction, and that will be this A1 plus A2 into the yield strength. And finally, if you see from here, you can calculate what is the area, and this hardness, some relation is there. So next, okay, something. So what is the requirement for a surface to move? So if you see from here, so surfaces first they are into contact. First thing, they are into contact. Now second thing, you have to move it. So when you can move, because first thing it has to make a contact area so that the load can be supported. If you are not able to support the load, means it will keep on deforming. Your A contact area it will be changing. So this deformation will keep on increasing. And at the same time, now you started trying to move. When you are trying to move, so your force is increasing. But still, we are trying to move, but there is no movement. You are increasing the force, but there is no movement. But there will be some point when your sliding force or the stress you are applying in lateral motion is higher than the yield strength of this junction. So you are able to break the junction, and that junction once broken, so when you are breaking first junction, so immediately it will come down, because now requirement for the force for the lateral movement is reduced. So that is somewhere your requirement for the lateral force is reduced. That's why this friction force it came down. So immediately you may not be in that position, so this may get this kind of situation. So when it's steady, and then it can come down, then it can again, so this may be this kind of thing. So this kind of dip you can get because of the first junction probe. Then there can be some mechanical interlocking because roughness is there, and again maybe there are some localized welding may happen, this kind of or localized deformation may be there. So this is called your static friction. It's already mentioned there. So where you are just applying the force, there is no visible movement into the part, and this portion where you are seeing this kind of zigzag, this is your stick slip portion, which is not mentioned in this portion, and this is your just kinetic friction. So normally we quote this value of the friction. Okay, coefficient of friction कितना है? हम बोलेंगे friction requirement जो stable value को. We didn't quote this, but these are critical requirement. When we develop lubricants, so this is the area where we concentrate. It should not go very heavily. Why not? Why it cannot go like this? where it is going to pierce. And causes of friction, caused by interaction between these joining parts. So here just you can see roughness, and the roughness is gone because of the plastic deformation. So roughness is also one important parameter. So kind of repetition of the last slide. So basically you can see this area has changed. So this real area of contact is going to define the process or the requirement for the force. And some places you can get this kind of micro welding, that already we discussed this shearing forces of micro welding. So this weld you have to this welded portion you have to break. So this, suppose this weld is there, so this is another weld. So now this material, it will go with the another counterpart, it will go with the counterpart, and this counterpart basically will offer you the adhesive wear. And here, if this kind of scratching action is coming or blowing action, so we can say it's an abrasive wear. So one is your adhesive wear, other your blowing or abrasive wear, and in this case you can see this is a stick slip situation. So this is something what we are discussing. So now we are trying to define abrasive wear and adhesive wear. So what is the requirement for adhesive wear in this portion here? So again, if you simplify this issue or the problem, when adhesion can happen or when micro weld can happen, because you are trying to break this micro spline. वेल्डिंग कब हो सकती है? जस्ट बहुत सिंपल है।
हाई प्रेशर पे भी सब जाती है।
हाई प्रेशर पे वेल्डिंग होती है। ओके, पर कब होती है? आप सैंड को वेल्ड कर सकते हो इस पे। If I have one sand particle and other side I have stainless steel, so can we do welding with high pressure?
जब तक दोनों में मॉलिक्यूलर फ्यूजन नहीं होगा तब तक तो नहीं हो सकता।
So molecular fusion, you are saying, but that will happen only when you are into that state. If you are not able to deform plastically in that region and temperature is not of that order, your diffusion or welding may not happen. So that is something what we are saying is the property of these materials. So if yield strength of the two material is of the same order, and then you are trying to press it, at some point they will try to deform, or yield strength of one material is very low and yield strength of one other material is very high. So in that case, what is going to happen? I will go to one slide. Right? So yield strength, if you do 3 times almost, so it's a hardness. So if hardness of the surface is high, you will be able to deform, and so here this because of the plastic deformation, this micro spot or micro welding it can happen, and this something. Now suppose you have these two asperities, they contact. So this is your, say this area is deformed area, or this is your welded zone. So we are trying to put lateral stresses onto it. So where it is going to break? It can break somewhere here, or maybe this top part it can take this material. So this kind of situation, or this top part it may lose this kind of material from here. ऐसा हो सकता है कि वो यहाँ से इतना मटेरियल एक्स्ट्रा लेके निकल जाए, ऐसा हो सकता है इतना मटेरियल छोड़ जाए, या बीच में से टूट जाए। कहाँ से टूटेगा वो?
मटेरियल तो लेके ही चलेगा, बीच से नहीं।
क्यों नहीं? ये तो आप ऊपर हाथ से या तो छोड़ के जाएगा वहाँ पे या लेके जाएगा। So this is something what? Something adhesion has happened to one surface. तो किस surface पे साथ में जाएगा जिसकी yield strength कम होगी वो छोड़ देगा। But why it is not sharing at the interface? Because we are talking about the welding. एक तो देखो दोनों मटेरियल, दिस मटेरियल ऑलरेडी सेड some diffusion may happen. So इसके alloying element और इसके impurity, इसके alloying element, they may try to diffuse into this area, and there will be increase in the temperature in this zone, and there will be, because of these two factors, there will be strain hardening when you are trying to stress, and there will be thermal diffusion. So this is something what new alloy or new composition has been developed, and this will be having definitely good or higher mechanical properties compared to both the current materials. So if you see the stress distribution, that will be something like this. So it will never break from here. It may be something like this. It may break from this. So this is something which you have to control or you can play. Now if something out of this will having higher hardness, एक ही हार्डनेस जो ज़्यादा होगी, रेजिस्टेंस बहुत ज़्यादा है, तो बेसिकली जब आप वो कॉन्टैक्ट में जाएगा, इट विल जस्ट पेनिट्रेट, एंड व्हेन यू आर ट्राइंग टू मूव इट, इट विल स्क्रैच और अब्रेड. सो फॉर अब्रेसिव वियर देयर इज ए रिक्वायरमेंट, द हार्डनेस ऑफ वन मटेरियल or one of the contacting material, it should be very high, and if they are of the same order, then chances are there in adhesive wear. But when hardness of one surface is higher than the other, so maximum chances will be there, it will be abrasive mode, and this kind of situation, stick slip will come when you are trying to move. In this case, it will be flowing action. So stick slip in these two cases, there will be more chances. In this case, it will be just flowing action, so your friction just, maybe this can go directly up. And this you can see with a microscope. We have observed these situations, and normally we do one experiment during lab classes. एक चीज, yes. तो friction तो होगा when you are trying to move, or if it is a mechanical component we are talking about. If friction is also there, we cannot avoid. तो किसके साथ रहना पसंद करेंगे? Either this one or that one. हम छोड़ सकते नहीं. So which is good actually when we have to choose out of these two. So how and what will be the basis for that? Means I am trying to say whether abrasive wear is good or adhesive wear is good. तो मैं बेसिक पे करूँ, इसमें इसी बहुत टाइम चला है,
डिफॉर्मेशन
इसी में काफी टाइम निकल गया है.
डिफॉर्मेशन तो दोनों केसेस में हो रहा है.
डिफॉर्मेशन दोनों केस में हो, वियर दोनों केसेस में हो रहा है. वियर आपका यहाँ पे मेरा आई कैन से लाइक वियर अमाउंट ऑलमोस्ट सेम है दोनों में. वियर अमाउंट अगर हमसे इन टर्म्स ऑफ थिकनेस ऑफ द मटेरियल लें, वियर कैसे मेजर करते हैं? वियर हाई टेम्परेचर एंड चैनिंग ऑफ द वियर. हाउ टू रिड्यूस फ्रिक्शन, कैसे घटा सकते हैं? बाय मॉडिफाइंग व्हाट, अभी तो बताना चाहिए. डिजाइन ऑन दिस. First slide I was trying to play. I was trying to flow one, what do you call that, trolley where two kids were sitting. Their contact was flat. So instead of that, if I am putting one roller or two roller, so contact area or the type of motion from sliding to rolling. So basically that concept came from the design. So while you are trying to slide, try to roll. So if you can add something from the design, that part, material properties you can change, hardness or resistance you can play, coatings you can, physical chemical, if lubricant is there, so how those lubricants they are reacting with the surfaces. So that is where your role of lubricant is there. So you can design your lubricant according to the surface. Your lubricant, whatever we are using for now, say in your cars, everything is made of steel. But maybe down the line, maybe after 20 years, everything is made of aluminum. So we have good lubricant for steels. So these additives, they can react with the steels but those additives may not react with the aluminum or magnesium or titanium principles. So now you have to select or choose the additive so that your lubricant can react or it can form a layer. Applying low friction material. So basically this is lubricant again. So it can be your lower addition, it can be just, we don't want them to contact at all. So here we are trying to create low shear resistance film between these. So earlier we were trying to shear the metal against metal, but okay, let us put low shear strength material. Now they can shear easily, so friction will come down. Then other solution is why to contact them, just separate with the fluid pressure. So that is something what this will be coming in hydrodynamic regime, because here we are trying to exploit the hydrodynamic pressure. So this is something what we can use this design part to explain that. So this mismatch here. So parameters of active friction, hardness, load, और क्या होगा? क्लिक करो उससे पहले बताओ.
सरफेस प्रोफाइल भी हो सकता है,
रफनेस देखते हैं आता नहीं आता. स्पीड, why speed? तो हार्डनेस एंड लोड ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड है ना. Why speed?
स्पीड टेम्परेचर से रिलेटेड है.
Yes. आपका speed is basically related to the temperature. How? When suppose my engine is stroking this kind. So if speed is slow, so basically I am giving more time to these molecules to relax or dissipate the heat. It may be just metal, it may be of some lubricant. But if when speed is high, so you have reduced the relaxation time. So basically accumulation of the heat into that zone will be high and your part may fail, your lubricant may fail. So speed, another is roughness. Why roughness? Because if surface is very rough, so localized contact pressure will be very high. So you may be thinking it's 10 Newton, but that may be some gigapascal order. So that localized pressure may be leading to the failure of the lubricant. And this is where the point this degradation of lubricants starts. So based on this, whatever we talked about, what are the laws and theories of friction? कोई भीड़ में से पढ़े लिखे कौन जाग रहा है, कौन सो रहा है? अब ये मैंने लास्ट सेमेस्टर से स्टार्ट किया है. मैं किसी को भी बोलता हूँ कि जस्ट रीड इट. हाँ. So first law says friction is independent of area of contact. Right? So basically it is not apparent area of contact. If you see here, so one brick we are trying to slide, and in all the cases coefficient of friction is same. On this contact area is changing. So here you can see this x by y. So here x by y is different. Here x by y is different. So this is basically what we are seeing. It's apparent area of contact. But real area of contact is your aspirated. What we are saying A1 plus A2 or A3. So that real area of contact that is going to decide the coefficient of friction. Friction force is proportional to normal load, mu equal to F upon N. This is normally mu equal to F upon N. So that is where we are defining, but this law mu is proportional to F upon N is not always valid. Other thing is the kinetic friction when we are moving. So that is independent of what? Sliding speed. Because everything will, this all instability or this high point, we already covered this. But once you are in this regime, coefficient of friction should not change. And this is where we use the coefficient of friction value for designing any contact. So first two laws, they are known as Hamilton's law, and this is Coulomb's law, and collectively laws of friction. Normally we talk mu equal to F upon N. F is friction force and N is your normal load. So what it means?
This is kinetic friction.
It's a kinetic friction. In this regime only we are talking about. When we are moving, it's kinetic friction. So what it means? Maximum value of mu, what it can be? F equal to n can be 1. So 1 means you will be moving. Here will be. They will be moving or they will not be moving. It will slide. But how lizards they move? How reptiles they move? So F जो है आपका is not 1. So mu जो हम 1 बोल रहे हैं, maybe it's 1.5, 2.5. So this law is not valid. What we are saying is a law of friction. It is not valid for those cases. So this is derived based on some experiment. That's why this is known as empirical laws. They are not scientifically derived. So like we can use thumb rule, but we cannot just believe blindly. And here, if you see how lizard moves, you are saying it is creating some vacuum. So basically, एक तो normal load का ही जो friction normal आना है, वो तो है. Along with this, they have some vacuum creation. So this capillary forces, so adhesive forces you can say. So these adhesive forces is basically it will be added to this portion. So now mu is more than this, and because of this they are going to do. So this law is not valid in these cases. And causes aspirating interlock. 1 GPa का लोड ले सकता है. 1 GPa, just one number I am taking. But yield strength of the material is how much? Normally in MPS, say 600 or 700 MPS. And we are claiming it can bear 1 GPa of load. So that is happening because of elastic deformation. Because there is localized deformation and now contact area which is of the order of say some GPa pressure is going to that. But it is now into different, so you can get the GPa pressure. And so I was trying to say this pressure viscosity. It is separate. Okay. So this pressure viscosity and EHL and PHL we are trying to talk. So here we have this lubricant in between these two surfaces. So this is your one surface, right? And this is your other surface here. So when this lubricant, these asperities are coming into the contact. So first they will try to deform elastically, right? So once this pocket is there and lubricant, suppose now you can consider this as a two cups, they are sitting on top of each other, and lubricant is entered into this, and you are trying to press the lubricant. So because of the elastic deformation, this volume of this cup should reduce, and it is followed by the plastic deformation. Again the volume of the cup will reduce. So because the reduce of the volume of the cup, this liquid is going to face higher pressure. And if pressure from 40 it goes to 80, what is going to happen? You are going to see higher viscosity. So, and at the same time, because of this reduced volume, this liquid will try to escape from this bowl or from this pocket. So where it can escape? It can escape from this interfaces only. So it will try to push this back and it will try to flow out. And the moment it will try to flow out, this localized pressure will be very, very high compared to say maybe 20, maybe this localized maybe 120. And because of this, normally it's, I think, yes, if you see this scale, it's a log scale. So this pressure will be very high, and these points will be the points where you will get solidification of the lubricant. And this happens because of the pressure viscosity index. So this relationship is designated or you can say understood by pressure viscosity index, and this is your viscosity index. So difference between viscosity index and pressure viscosity index is what? One is depending on temperature and other is depending on the pressure. Single point contact. Then this thing will not happen. This thing may not happen. Single point contact basically never, there is a never single point contact. If roughness is there, this thing is going to happen.
There will be some elastic deformation. So there will be formation.
But this pressure will come, or the pressure on the lubricant will come when it is into contact. But if it is single point contact, it means a single molecule is contacting. So there is no confinement of the lubricant. So if there is no confinement of the lubricant, your viscosity will not change. It will try to scale. Only change may be there if there is some additive. If there are some additives, those additives may react to these surfaces. So basically you are not into ESD or PSD regime. You are into boundary lubrication regime. So that concept, so from here it will shift to the your surface chemistry. Here we are trying to say in terms of lubricant with their surface chemistry will dominate. So इसको हम बाद में करें
After 10 minutes.
ठीक है. So now just I will try to give an effort towards development of lubricant, and that lubricant I am considering. So if you say lubricant, so what lubricants may be? So lubricants क्या हो सकते हैं? So lubricant basically is a liquid, and definitely it is oil. If we consider or we see our perception, it's oil. Now, whether we are using pure oil or mixed with something else, so based on that, one category is your metal working fluid. So it's a, you can say if you go by categorization, so it can be neat oil or it can be soluble oil. So neat oil means just oil or engine lubricants. We say that is one category of the lubricant, and other category is your soluble oil. In soluble oil, it can be water based. So what in water we are trying to add some amount of oil. So that is your emulsion basically, and that they are calling metal working fluid. Metal working fluid, maybe during machining process you would have seen white color of fluid, sometimes blue color of liquid you are using during machining. So that is called coolant. Normally people call coolant, but that is your metal working fluid, and it is oil in water emulsion. So you are trying to disperse oil into water. That is one category. So that is something what we are trying to understand. So in this, what is the metal working fluid and why it is needed basically. So this slide says why we need metal working fluid. So metal working fluid, normally it is oil in water emulsion. What is oil in water emulsion and water in oil emulsion? Difference between these two. And both the lubricants are being used in industry. Some places oil in water, and some places water in oil. So name we are trying to give based on continuous phase and dispersed phase. So if continuous phase is your water and we are trying to put oil into that, so that is oil in water emulsion. So now you come to the requirement, why or which places you can use oil in water and which places you can water in oil. So the concept lies behind the properties of this individual component. So one question before these two things, it comes, why we are not using just pure oil? Why we are trying to use emulsions? So well accepted argument is oil lubricates, right? And water cools, right? So thermal conductivity of water is very good, and thermal conductivity of lubrication ability of oil is very good. So these are the two best properties we are trying to exploit here: lubricity of the oil and thermal conductivity of the water. So there will be some application where you need to dissipate heat more, like your this metal cutting single point metal cutting tool, and there will be some places where you need to more lubricate, but at the same time you have to dissipate heat also. That is water in oil emulsion, right? So if you see here, so this is kind of rolling, so level of plastic deformation. What is this actually? उधर तो नहीं उसके पीछे वाला तो नहीं। So here level of plastic deformation is very high and heat generation will be very high. कहीं कुछ कनेक्शन लूज हो रहा है।
वायर वहाँ से
Okay. So level of plastic deformation is going to decide level of heat generation. Like how or from where the heat is coming here. The bonds between molecules, you are trying to deform those bonds or break those bonds. So those bonds, once they are blocking, they are dissipating energy, and that energy is basically heat. So that bonding energy is getting converted into heat energy, and that heat has to be dissipated. Now how to dissipate the heat? That is one challenge. And we know water is good conductor, or thermal conductivity of water is good, heat carrying capacity is valuable. So let us use water, but water cannot lubricate. So let us take some amount of oil also. So here, because if these rolls they are not moving or rolling, you may not get the streak. Sticking may be there. And at the same time, if they are not lubricating, you may not get the strip again. And in this case, if you see, the chips are coming out. So here, you are using this lubricant, and actually what is happening, this chip is trying to slide over the rake face of the tool. So this chip is trying to slide over the rake face. Rake face good is
Yes, sir.
and this flank. The rake face is something what we have to protect, and the surface, that is what we have to protect. Or the we basically decide the quality of machining by the quality of surface finish. So and that is decided by the which can SDM इसमें VG है।
हाँ बिजली तो
नहीं उधर ही लगेगा वहीं इधर इधर नहीं है तो चार्जर है
जैसे कि
नहीं इसमें यही लगेगा VG थंडरबोल्ट भी बोलते हैं इसको VG ठीक है। So here you have to protect the surface, and here in this case you have to protect the drag face. And in both the cases, or both the surfaces, both the contact zones, you have different lubrication regime. In this case, level of pressure is very high, so most probably it is going to operate into boundary lubrication regime. And this pressure is little lower, and it should be lower, so that it should be in either hydrodynamic regime, which is not possible, but okay, it should be in mixed regime at least. So here pressure is low. So if you have to satisfy these requirements, so this is something how important or how much important this lubricant is. So if you see here, this is total cost or total manufacturing cost, and out of this cost of lubricant is 17%, and 17% is something quite high. 17% of
What
manufacturing
about
cost.
general cost?
General cost, I'm not sure, but I just concentrated on this.
Installation and
Installation, manufacturing cost, maybe the tooling cost, but basic tool cost is here. Maybe
raw material,
raw material,
power,
power generations, power consumptions, handling, but this is almost 17%, and that's why people are trying to develop how to minimize the use of lubricants, and the concept leading from here is the MQL, minimum quantity lubrication. MQL has two advantages. One is this lubricant amount is used, that will be reduced, and other will be, because what is happening after use, once your lubricant is of no use, you have to discard it. So that time when you are trying to discard, what effect it is going to offer to the environment. If it is not environmental friendly, so basically your environment is going to contaminate, and that is one of the biggest challenge which is going to face this lubrication industry in coming future. So when you are trying to dispose, it should be degradable, so biodegradable or something is coming into this picture. MQL, if you cannot avoid, try to minimize it. So what is metal working fluid now? Metal working fluid is क्या है? A range of oil and other liquids that are used to cool and or lubricate metal working pieces when they are being machined, ground, built. This is general definition of metal working fluid. But if you go by, because we cannot always remember the words. If you ask me to read this, I can read, but if you ask me to just say, maybe I will not be able to give word by word. But what is the concept behind that? See, metal working fluid, oil water emulsion. So emulsion is what? Emulsion, one continuous phase and one dispersed phase. It can be water in oil, oil in water. You are trying to mix. But when you are mixing oil into water, so they are the phases which are going to separate out after time. So if two phases they are separated, means that is of no use for you. So stability of that mixture or the emulsion is biggest issue here. So how you can make them stable? For that we use emulsifiers. And emulsifiers, they can be helping in stabilization, and they can help in so they can help in lubrication process also. So they can be multifunctional additives. So basically these emulsifiers are additives, and they can be having different chemical structure, different roles may be there, but we are saying their primary role is to separate two oil droplets so that they should not coalesce. How they help? So these droplets, if you just see this another schematic for this, so they are trying to decorate at this oil water or around the oil droplet. So they are trying to sit at the oil water interface. So they have the property, so by which they can sit in both the phases. It can sit in oil also, it can sit in water also. So this is the property, and based on this property we say one is hydrophobic and one is hydrophilic. So hydrophobic, it will try to sit into the oil, hydrophilic, it will sit into the water, and they basically they will try to sit it at the interface, and based on that they will try to stabilize this total system. So your oil water emulsion is stabilized by using this, and this is emulsifier, and this particular emulsifier is known as surfactant. Surface active agents are basically surfactant. So normally if you see here, so this is something what oil phase and emulsifier, they keep separated. So in metalworking operations, this serve two purpose: lubricate the contact zone and water takes the heat away. So these are well established arguments, but I am trying to say something different from this. It's not only oil. which lubricate the contact zone inside the contact. This is something else. So that's why it took for me to long time to establish this concept here. So where understanding is needed at this point. See, what is the effect of droplet size? That oil we are trying to disperse into water. So how much that droplet size should be there? Whether it should be micron size, 10 micron, or it should be nanometer size. And if it is so, then what is the effect of that droplet size, distribution, stability, and their tribological response? So these people still nowadays also they are trying to understand how these oil droplets from emulsion they are getting transported to the contact zone that you have to lubricate. That is the something what we have to control it. Then other thing is what is the nature of the emulsion in the contact zone? We are saying it is oil which lubricate. But whether it is oil in the contact zone or it is oil in water emulsion or it's water in oil or something else, that is still unclear. I claim it's not only oil, it is something else which is still not clear. And that is what we are going to prove. It's not only oil. See, how does this surfactant, because surfactant is something which is helping to stabilize the oil droplets into water. So how this surfactant, how does the surfactant concentration controls the lubricity? So it's not something you can add any number or any amount of surfactant. There should be some amount. This much is fine and this much is not fine, and it is less, it is high. So what is that concentration or what is the role of that? So what is the role does the surfactant play? क्या surfactant का केवल एक रोल ऑयल वाटर इंटरफेस पे ही है या इसका कुछ रोल फ्रिक्शन में भी है? Can it be multifunctional? That is what, and that is where the research is lying. People are trying to develop different molecules, so that you just add one molecule, no need to add n number of molecules, which are lying in nowadays into different lubricant formulations. But this is because they are toxic. If you go to the oil industry, they will just develop something according to your need. They will add one more chemical, so that is a complex mixture, and that is something what if you are, suppose you want to develop something for EP, extreme pressure something. So most probably sulfides or phosphorus you add, and once they are going to environment, they are hazardous. So what is the role? Can we develop something into that? If that is the thing, so keeping these things in the mind, something we will be trying to address, something I will just skip, maybe out of the scope. So we try to do some experiment. So this is something what the whole experimental setup for the following experiments. So as I cannot develop or test the developed lubricants onto full-fledged machine because it may fail also. Whatever the lubricant I am saying, it is not lubricant, it is just simple waste. So for that I have to test on a machine where minimum damage will be there. So for this we have this tribometer, ball on disc, 4-ball testers we call. So frictional study we do here, dynamic light scattering. So we characterize emulsion here. So what is the droplet size, what is the charge characteristics on the oil droplet size, that we do here. And goniometers where you try to record the wettability of the surfaces by emulsion, what is the surface tension of the emulsion, what is the surface and interface accumulation of these surfactant molecules, and materials which use this in 31 steel, 100 CR6 ball, and oil we took paraffin oil. So you should ask one question, why paraffin oil? And before asking this question, I think it is better to know what kind of oils are there. Right? Then only you can ask. So oils, there are paraffins, then naphthalene, maybe in other presentation I added in this or they are not there. And naphthalene, paraffins and aromatics. So out of these three categories, we are selecting, and difference if you see, so just you can see this, remember aromatics, they are ring structure, right, some six, and this naphthalene, so 2 rings or 3 rings they are sitting side by side. So basically in these two categories you have ring structure, and other category is something where you have linear hydrocarbons, and we have the formulations till date for ring structured molecule, but that is what this naphthalene. So most of these oil categories, so let it be your group 1, group 2, they are naphthalene based and we have formulation for that. And other categories, group 3 oil, so that is mostly your paraffinic based linear carbon chains of different size. And they are more near to synthetic oil. Means you can develop oil in your lab, but we don't have formulation for this kind of thing. When you have this kind of paraffins, this linear hydrocarbons. So that's why I choose this paraffin oil, linear hydrocarbon chain. And what to use as a surfactant. What to use as a surfactant, I took 3 basic surfactants, and there is a criteria or what is the basis for selecting these 3 out of this n number of surfactants. Why I selected these 3? So if you remember the additives or role of the additives, we were saying they can react to the metallic surfaces when we are into boundary lubrication regime, right? And they can sit at the oil at water interface, just I was saying. So what is the ability of these molecules to react with the metallic surfaces? That is one criteria. And what is the ability of these molecules to sit at the oil-water interface? So basically, how much contribution I am getting from the oil-loving part and how much contribution I am getting from the water-loving part. So what is this hydrophilic lipophilic balance? HLB number we call this. We call this HLB number, hydrophilic lipophilic balance. So if HLB number is 1, I am trying to teach chemistry to mechanical engineers, but I am also mechanical engineer, so that's why in mechanical way I am trying to teach. I don't remember what this says. I don't remember what this structure says. But by looking at this OH and CS2 things, I can see there is a difference. So HLB number, hydrophilic lipobalance number, if it is 1, so it is more oil loving. This much mechanical engineer can remember. And if it is high, maybe 18 or 19, then it is more water loving. Simple. So if it is, so 1, when it is more oil loving, that is something what, whether oil lubricates. I should add something which is directly, it can dissolve into oil. So it is having high solubility into oil. So I selected oleic acid, well studied additive which is being used in oil industry. So this is kind of very standard one. And reason for this is if you have this kind of structure, so it can react to metallic surface very nicely. It is well established. So and it has some lubricity also. So that because we don't know how it is going to react or behave with this kind of oils. So let us take something which is well established. And let us take 2 things which is having moderate solubility into both oil and water and different structure. So different structure means this portion of the standard and this portion, they are same, just they are bended and all. But if you see here this thing, if you open this also, it will come something like this only. So this portion and this portion is same, only the head group. This part and this part here head group, they are different. So in this way I am trying to change the head group, keeping the tail same. And in this category I am trying to keep these 2 things also constant. Head group is also constant, only the chain length or chain type I am trying to vary. So the scientific basis I am trying to explore the effect of head and tail length on lubricity of the oil water emulsion, and that oil is new paraffin oil. And how we produce the emulsion? We just mix oil water, you mix, you do some magnetic stirring, then use ultrasonic probe. Ultrasonic probe is something what you should use, otherwise you won't be able to disintegrate the micro-sized droplets, and your emulsion will be micro-sized emulsion or micro-emulsion. And micro-emulsion may not be useful for you because your contact size is very small. And if droplet size is bigger, they won't be able to enter into the contact zone. So they won't participate in the lubrication process. So you will be thinking yes, good lubricant, but it is actually not. And CMC is what? We didn't talk about this. What is CMC? Okay, CMC, like we said, HLB. HLB is one criteria based on hydrophilic lipophilic balance. We say this is one number. Another criteria for selecting these surfactants or additives for this, that is based on critical micelle concentration. CMC stands for critical micelle concentration. And why we call critical micelle concentration? Because, and what is micelle? Micelle is something we were talking about. This one. So this is structure. Oil is inside this system. If I remove the oil from this system, so this ball of surfactant, they are trying to make a ball, all hydrophobic parts inside, there is no oil, and this happens when surfactant concentration is very high. Because when concentration is low, that time they will be sitting at the interface. But when it is high, they are trying to make a ball, and this ball is known as micelle. So that concentration at which this formation of micelle starts is known as critical micelle concentration. And the explanation for this I think I have one more. So based on this also, what is the ability to form this micelles, what concentration? So based on this concentration, basically you decide how much concentration you should use so that the micelle should not form. If your system is forming with the micelles, so basically availability of the monomers or the surfactants to participate in the lubrication process is reduced. So you have to take care, micelles should not form. So the concentration where micelle starts, so just below that you should select. So what is this micelle concentration? If you have to measure or you have to understand, so this is the, see when concentration, this is a plot surface tension you can say, is varying with the concentration of the surfactant generally. So when it is monomer, so almost no change. When again concentration has reduced, increased, so there is a reduction in surface tension. But when it is crossing some limit, so that time this formation of this structure starts and this interface is rich of this monomers, and the concentration at which this starts is known as CMC. It's clear? You are helping in the lubrication process. And that's what this thing is reported. See here, this is, see the time how this precursor film is moving. So droplets are bigger, they are getting separated. All small droplets they are trying to enter, bigger droplets is coming. So this is not my work. This is done by this Foster et al. I just use this mechanism. So small droplets, big droplets you can consider. I will just try to summarize now, because time is less, or you can discuss them afterwards. So if you characterize these droplets as small and big, so small, big because they are able to enter and they are not able to enter. So there you can characterize in terms of volume. So volume of small droplets, this one you can consider, and volume of big droplets, this much you can consider. You can calculate the ratio of small droplets, volume of small droplets to the volume of bigger droplets. That you can calculate Vs by Vb, and then you can calculate back what is the volume of these smaller droplets, and you can characterize this. Zeta potential is one. What is electrostatic interaction? You can say two charge species when they are interacting. That is electrostatic interaction. If this charge interaction you are trying to record in a medium, this same potential will be screened out by the additives or the species or counterants we call here, and because of that screening, that potential is no more potential, it's a zeta potential. So that potential, higher this value stable or the higher the repulsive forces, stable the system is. गॉट द आइडिया और नॉट? किसी को समझना, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्राइटेरिया है. हायर द zeta potential, either it's positive or negative, higher will be the repulsive forces between two droplets, and this will lead to the high stability of the emulsion. And this will be again high when you have smaller droplets. And based on this, the concentration effect again is enough now. So finally I will come up with the model. This एक चीज बताता हूँ आपको. If you say it's a pure oil with lubricate, so pure oil response you can see this one, and this is emulsions. So emulsions are much lower. So actually, in case of metal working fluid, it's not pure oil which lubricate, it's something else, and most probably it is water in oil, because now you have smaller droplets. So here system is reversed from this water in oil in water system to water in oil system, and that is what this your now why I am saying this, because now oil droplets, they are encapsulated into water, and now this pressure is coming. These oil droplets cannot escape, and because of this higher pressure viscosity index, it is able to support the load, and they are helping in the lubrication process. So this is something I can discuss. Yeah, this is the model which we propose. So smaller droplets, they will be sitting at some equilibrium position, and when you just try to move, it is the small droplets which will enter first, and this is something bigger droplet. They are still not able to contact any of the surfaces, and here this is proved by all this this equation. So this is called d'Alembert equation theory. So we proved this theoretically also, we proved this experimentally also. So here we can propose a model. It is the small droplets which lubricate the contact, but if you are not able to control the droplet size, so this system can fail, because they will not be able to enter. You may get that small droplet maybe for 1 hour. But what is the second hour? So you will be saying my system is good, but what is the condition of your system after 2 hours? So ultimately it is going to the stable system. How much stable system you can make with the smaller droplets?
Sir, जैसे कि larger droplet है, after the course of time, due to difference in hardness of water or environment, so
That is different aspect.
It will collapse and will contribute to
It may collapse or may not collapse, and here effect of,
or share.
if it is shearing, it will help in lubrication. If it is not shearing, then it will separate.
Collapse in small droplet then
It will work.
means after the changing of environment or changing the hardness of water. So if
Hardness,
and if it is change in pH.
The pH
what is the working condition?
will help you in terms of dissociation of your surfactant. And the surfactant, whatever we have used, they have almost negligible effect of pH. Because pH will affect when you have these esters kind of thing. Means it can break. So chemistry is there a little bit. So it will break only when acid will form and alcohol will form. So these molecules, they will not have that effect. But definitely when you are making emulsion, so that is why we have to record the effect of individual element. So this is something what established. Now okay, we can go to the different system. And this project, IOCL is very much interested. They are saying okay, give the formulation, and because they have different oil, we have different formulation, so we are into the next phase. I already got the proposal, but unfortunately I selected one student, and she worked for 2 years, and after that she left, so that project again stopped. So I wanted to take this work to the further, because this is under like research category. I want to take this to actual application. So when it is actual application, so oil type will change. surfactant, it will be with some EP additive or something what they said. So that's all about these lubricants. If you have any confusion, you can ask me, or any questions, I will be happy to answer. If you want to repeat me afternoon, I can repeat again. It's up to you. I will give you option. And it will be different from this. So don't escape. Try to come.
सेकंड हाफ के बाद क्लासेस ड्रॉप करना
लोग ज़्यादा है.
हाँ.
Okay.